On the right hand side, we see the plan that we devised in the analysis video. And now it's time to implement it. And I think that this time I'm going to start by writing the function count occurrences, so that when we later on write the main function, we already have the function ready. Usually I do start with writing the main function, but as I said, this time I'm going to start with the function that we're going to use. But first off, let's create a script and get started. And as you can see, I created the skeleton for what we need here. We see that we need a main function. We have that here. We also need the function count occurrences, the one where we should start writing our code today, and that we have up here. So now let's see if we can manage to do what it says here. So I'll start writing the code, and after that we can see how it corresponds to what we have here in our plan. So we can see here that if we look at our plan, the first thing we say that we should find the index of the word or the combination, but here I called it word in the code. So we see here, all right, we use the find function on a string. So we have a string here and we call find. What we get back is the index where we can find this combination of letters in this string here called sentence. So we will store that here. I also added a variable count that I set to be 0 to begin with, because I know that later on we are going to use this counter to increase it if we find an occurrence of the combination. So I just set it to 0 so I know that we start at 0. Let's continue with the rest of the code here. Let's take a look at the code that we added here. So we see that we should have a loop that continue as long as index is not -1. And that is what we check here in the condition. What do we do in the loop? We increase the counter. We can see that's the first step. After that, we do the list slicing. And as we talked about in the analysis video, what we want to do is to keep the part that is after the word or combination of letters that we found, meaning that, all right, let's do some slicing here. Where should we start? Well, we should start at where we found the first word, which is index, plus how long the word is. So we skip past the word and then we keep the rest, meaning we don't have an end here in the slicing. So we remove the part that we have already looked at where we found the word, and now we only have the rest left here in sentence. After that, the last step is to see if we can find the word or letter combination again in whatever is left of the sentence. So the last step here in the plan. Then we go back and we go around here in the loop as long as we can find more occurrences of this second parameter word in sentence. And after that, we return how many times we found it. Now that we have this function ready, let's take a look at the main function. I think we're done there. Let's try to run it and see what it outputs. So we see the word and occurs 3 times in the following sentence, and then we get the sentence here. So we can see that, all right, we have 1, 2, 3 occurrences. So it seems to be working. Let's see what we actually did compared to our plan. So we declared a sentence and word. We have that up here. Then we called the function that we created earlier, and we store the result in a variable count. And after that, the last step here is just to display the result. So we can see here this time we started by creating all the functions that we need, and then we use them. Normally I would start here in main as we've talked about before, but this time we did it the opposite, just to show that we can do it whichever way that suits us.